That addiction that you have to porn can be sorted out with just a three simple step. First off, every action on the face of the earth is a seed, and every seed is going to germinate when planted, grow, and bear fruit. So when you act on anything on the face of the earth, it has become a seed that is sown, and after some time, it's going to germinate and bear you fruit. And this fruit comes in circles, and these circles are lodged within the timeline of our life. That means everything that is a reality to you today is as a result of an action that has taken place in time past, either by you or someone before you. So once you act on anything on the face of the earth, it has become a seed that is sown, and it is going to produce certain fruit which comes in circles and which are later within the timeline of our life. The timeline is the path through which every human being is to take on the face of the earth. And in this path, we have events that are to take place in the life of each and everyone on the face of the earth. These events can be different things, good days and bad days, and different kinds of events that would take place uh, between the start of a person's life till the end of the person's life. All of the events are later within the timeline according to their timestamps. Now, these circles can only be activated by triggers. Triggers are the things that activate the circles. I'll explain these triggers later. Just stay with me. Now you are addicted to porn and you want to overcome this addiction to porn. First off, you need to know that this addiction to porn is as a result of an action in time past. This action could be anything from um, you being introduced to porn at a very young age, or an abuse, emotional abuse, sexual abuse, any but an action took place. It could be anything, but an action took place in time past. This action was what produced these fruits of this porn, and then this addiction to porn is littered within the timeline of our life, and it is littered several times within the timeline of our lives. So when you get your hands on the triggers, they are activated, and once this cycle starts, you become powerless to that porn addiction or those activities that surround your kind of addiction. It can be different. It is relative from persons to persons. Once you get your hands or your eyes on these triggers, this circle is activated. The triggers are the things that helps activate this circle of porn within your life. So this event or this porn doesn't just happen on its own. It has to depend on triggers. Triggers are the things you see or the things you hear that activate this circle. Now, once this circle is activated, you are unable to stop it until it completes the turn. Completing each turn means you going through all of the activities you normally go through when you engage in this porn. It could be different kinds of activities. It is relative from person to person. But once you get to that particular point within the timeline of your life where this fruit is located, the fruit of which we're talking about now is this porn is located, you begin to get the urge to do this, which is that porn. When you begin to get that urge to do this, then you begin to look for the triggers, the things that trigger this addiction or this fruit to start its circles. It could be a picture, it could be sound, it could be certain activities. But once this circle is activated, you become powerless to it until it completes its turn before you will get some respite. That is why it is called an addiction, which is why you're seeking help for it, because sometimes you're normally powerless to this addiction. Now, to overcome this, the first thing you want to do is to know your triggers. Know your triggers. What are the things that triggers this particular fruit? So when you get the urge, what are the things that trigger these things? So could it be certain pictures, or certain movies, certain sounds, certain activities, what or certain thoughts? Something triggers this. Once it triggers it, then the cycle begins. Once the cycle begins, you engage in all of the activities that has to do with this porn. And once this circle start up, you become completely powerless to it until it completes its turn. So to overcome this, one of the first things you need to do is to know your triggers. You need to know your triggers. The first thing you do is to know your triggers. When you know your triggers, when you get to that particular point where within your life, as you journey day to day in your life, and you begin to feel that urge, when you begin to feel that urge, you know you've gotten to that particular part, or that particular part within your life where this timeline is located. What you do is you begin to avoid your triggers, because you begin to feel the urge, because that fruit is located at that particular time within that timeline of your life. You begin to feel that urge, so you start avoiding the triggers. You know what your triggers are. It could be one thing, it could be a couple of things, it could be a lot of things for different people. So check what are the things that normally trigger you to go into this when you begin to get that urge. So once you get to that particular point in your life where that urge for this fruit, which is this pond, comes on you, avoid your triggers. Once you avoid these triggers, you are unable to enter this circle. And once you're unable to enter this circle, you won't be able to do any of the activities that are related to this part. But that doesn't mean that you've been able to arrest it completely. The next thing is to study the patterns. What are the timings? Is it weekly? Does this urge come on you on a weekly basis, or on a daily basis, or on a monthly basis? So the step two is to study your patterns. What are the patterns? Is it monthly? Is it weekly? Is it yearly? That will help you know when to avoid these triggers. At least you know, if it's on a monthly basis, you know once this thing comes on you, you begin to avoid your triggers. The next thing you need to do is to begin to sow your own seed, which is plant your own seed. The reason why all of this addiction to porn came to be in the first place is as a result of seed. So a seed was sown at one point in time, and then it produced the fruit. And then you like the fruit, you continued with it. These fruits produce dopamines within your mind, within your brain. It releases certain dopamine and you enjoy it. After some time, on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, you want to get that feeling again that you normally get when you perform the activities that is related to this porn. So you begin to look for the triggers. Once you get the triggers, the circle begins. You begin to do all of those activities, nasty activities that you normally do that are related to this porn activity. So sow your own seed is the third um, a step you are going to take. Sow your own seed. So how do you sow your own seed, and what kind of seed will you sow? First off, you need to find out what are the things that these activities or this porn is denying you, or what you have wanted to do with your life in place of this porn addiction. At that time, when you normally engage in all of the activities that are related to this porn, what would you have wanted to do at that time? Would you have wanted to hang out more with your friends, or read books, or study, or do something productive? So what are the things you want to do in place of this activities that has to do with the sport, or what are the things that these activities is denying you? Those are the things that you are going to sow as a seed. Remember, every action is a seed. I said it earlier. Every action on the face of the earth is a seed that is going to produce a fruit at a certain time. So what you do is just think of those activities. It could be different things. It could be going out with friends, being out more instead of being indoors, and engaging in all of these activities that has to do with porn, or going out the more, visiting friends, studying your books. Just think of it. What are the activities you want in place of this porn addiction that you have? So those are the things that you are going to sow as a seed. So how do you sow it as a seed? You are going to take a step or take an action towards the direction of what you want in place of the sport. So, for example, if you like study, so if you like to study, if these activities that surround this sport is denying you ample time to study for your degrees or whatever thing that you're doing, or is taking away time, taking away time from you to go out with friends or do things or hang out more. So just think of it. You are going to go ahead and do it. So once you begin to get that urge, instead of you to look for these triggers, those things that you normally see or do that will not activate this, what you do is you begin to sow that seed of that part. So you get up and just take a chapter in a book and read it. If you can't read a chapter, you can just read a page in a book. It is a step, it is an action, and every action is a seed because you've taken that action at that particular point in time. It is going to produce a fruit. The goal here is for the amount of times that you have this fruit of this pond within the timeline of your life. What you want to do is to sow a seed in all of them. So once you sow your own seed according to the direction of where you want to go, what is going to happen is that these seeds that you've sown over time is going to begin to produce fruit after some time, and this fruit is going to overwhelm completely. This fruit of this pond is going to overwhelm them completely. It's not going to erase them. It is impossible for you to erase what is already within the timeline of your life. The reason is because you can't be able to see into your timeline or to know what life has in stock for you, or to even reach out within the timeline of your life to begin to edit and arrange and sort things out according to your will. It is impossible. You take a supernatural power to be able to see everything that is going to happen to you on the face of the earth, which you do not have because you're human. So what you do is to sow your own seed. It's going to overwhelm all of these all up to a point whereby this porn addiction will no longer be visible within your life anymore. You just live your life all through as if this doesn't exist at all until it gets to a point whereby this fruit will end on its own because nothing lasts forever. So this fruit that you have that is later within your timeline also has an expiry date. So after some time, it's going to end by itself, whether you seek for help or not, or you do anything about it or not. It's just going to be a history or something that you normally talk about at one point in time or the other. But you do not want it to affect your life. And two, you do not know how long this is going to take within the timeline of your life. All right. I hope this has been helpful. So, number one, know your triggers, study the patterns, and lastly, sow or plant your own seed. Once you do this, you'll be able to overcome that addiction to porn that you have. Thank you for watching. I'll see you some other time.